Kilarigbo Live TV.
First of all, I believe that PDP and APC are one party. Yeah. That's one party. So they was the alternative. Okay? And for us to build a real democracy, we need an alternative. And so we began with meetings. One of the things that people fear after an election is that these small parties, they don't have structure. That's part of the nonsense Nigerian politicians have invested in, structure. What is structure? They don't have structure means you won't have people like the 120-something thousand polling stations. So if you don't have people there, they can change the result. That's what they call structure. And so we began to argue that to be able to create people who will police democracy, we needed to bring social movements outside of political parties into the process. And we began a process of trying to find those social movements that will come together under a big tent to use to ensure that the democratic process actually does prevail in Nigeria. And at the point, we agreed that one very important movement that can make a difference that's everywhere in the country is the labor movement. Not the Labour Party, the labor movement. NLC, GUC, they have state political commissions in all the 36 states of the Federation. I had the privilege, and Wade was present there, to address all of these a few months ago. The NUT alone, NUT teachers, there is no community in this country where there isn't a teacher. And in most rural communities, they are the most influential people. And if all of these could commit to this cause, there is no structure that can compare to it. Combined PDP, APC, they don't have structure compared to this. If they can realize that the future of their children has been brutalized by a process of state capture, in which, as the state is becoming almost bankrupt, National Assembly governors, they're still buying brand new limousines and black SUVs, more in Abuja than you guys are in the world. And the people are starving to death. The very day that they were sharing dollars in Ghana must go bags in Abuja to win elections, 31 people stampeded to death in Port Harcourt just for a meal. There is such injustice in this country that God is looking down in a way that it will consume all of us. Fire. The kind of injustice that has gone on in this country. Citizens must rise to touch and reclaim their country. They have allowed a group of adventurers to seize the heart of their nation. And it's crushing the people. They're bleeding. They feel powerless. But listen, the people are awake. They are ready. And Nigeria will not be the same. Amen. This is a challenge that we face. I remember during the course of the struggle back in those days, the concerned professionals had a meeting. At that time, all officialdom had blocked us from a venue to meet in Lagos. So we said we were going to meet in a church, St. Peter's, Nigeria, on the island there. And we got together and decided to find ways to move to mid-Lagos. As we gathered together near the Shell building, Freeman House, to walk to the hall in St. Peter's, a police officer, I wish I could remember his name, regular uniform police officer, ran up to us and said, please, 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 my brothers, we are with you. We know what you're doing. We know it is right. We know it is just thing. But they have brought a detachment from far, far, far away. I knew, because, and I can say that publicly here, somebody from the American Embassy called me that morning and said, you guys be careful, because the detachment from Sokoto has come to deal with you guys specifically, the police. And so this Lagos, I don't know what his rank was, that came to us, said, please, we don't want anything to happen to you, just go away. He was still talking to us. When one of us, I think it was Tunde Iwole, I think, brought out his Not 9 Not, as we used to call it, his cell phone. As he just brought it up, he said, who they make phone? He just rushed on us. And everybody was running in all kinds of directions. The Nigerian people must stop allowing themselves to be divided by these characters. You bring from Sokoto to crush Lagos. You bring from Lagos to crush Bayelsa. This divide and rule has to stop. We are one people. We share a common humanity. And we must work together. We lift our people from this terrible oppression by a class that does not know that it's its own self that is being forced. Because they think they have personal advantage now because they have state power, authority. In the end, when their country becomes Somalia, they will be the first. Look, when June NSAS took place, I live on the street, I'm the poorest man on the street I live on. Some people live on my street have private jets. On the NSAS day, they were all headed to the airport and jumped on their planes to leave. When things calmed down 2 days later, they came back. I said to one of them, you know what? The day that will be the day, the airport will be a bridge too far.
Imagine if Pat is a poor man, then I'm a church rat.
See, Akapa? In the end, we're going to think about something bigger than us. We're going to think about the common good. Because if we think just about me, myself, and I, it will come back to get us. Because we are short-sighted. And so I salute the heroes of Nigeria. I salute the great Ghanaian enemies of this world. I salute him particularly, not just because he was this activist, because he litigated everything. And this allows institutions to emerge from the outcomes of litigation. I salute the Bekora of Kutis. When we were having those meetings in those days, when we're coming to a meeting, everybody's afraid of security. You park your car here, you take another car, come to another place, then we arrive at the meeting venue. Bekora will drive his, no, not Volvo, his Rabbit. That Volkswagen, what's the one, the Rabbit, the Golf. Just drive it and come and park in front of the place. I said, look, we are thinking of security. It's about the security on yourself. I salute all these heroes, but more importantly, I salute the man who had everything to lose and put it down for the people. Chief MKO. Sometimes we forget how much he had to lose. I always tell the story of one day in 1990, or 1 week in 1990. I was going to London that day. I was traveling on the same flight with you for the late Oba, Oladipo Olashore, and all of that. Just as I was leaving for the airport, I got a call. It was Chief Abiola. He said he wanted to see me. I said I was on my way to London. He said, no problem. And he was actually coming to London. I said, okay. I gave him the phone number for my family, because at that time I had been posted to the UK and just came back to Nigeria. I was on cross-posting. Give him the number in my place in the UK. And then, when I got to London, he called and said he was going to the G40 meeting in Caracas, in Venezuela. And that on his way back tomorrow, that he will call me. I said, okay. Sure as he had said, on his way back the next day, he called me from his car and said, could we see? He was going home. And I said, that I was going to the church. My daughter, who had just been born, was being baptized. He said, but I'm going to Paris this night. where is this baptism? I said, somewhere in Bayswater. I came from church in Bayswater. I said, okay. Maybe when he comes back from Paris, he will call me and say, went to the church. I got up to read the lesson, and there was Chifebuka Abiola sitting in the church. Inside the church. Then after this thing, he said, look, you know, I went to Baptist school, this is my first baptism. This is the first time. He said, okay, he's still going to France, he will call me on his way back. He left again for Paris. Came back the following morning and called. What I'm trying to tell you is that in a space of 6, when he came back from Paris, I went to see him. He left and flew. He said he had to go to see Jerry Rawlings in Ghana, and then from there he will go to Abuja to brief Babangida on the G15 meeting. In 1 week, this man had been in like 6-7 countries, and he was not looking like he was approaching tiredness. So the work ethic that he had, let us learn it. The patriotism that he had, let us learn it. The commitment to service of others that he had, let us learn it. Because he was a beacon for our country.
Kilarigbo Live TV, ẹ̀rọ amóhùnmáwòrán tíá.